we've come to look at an airplane that we've looked at many times in the past, but there have been some variations on it. This one you might see behind me here is Sting S4. Well, there was a Sting, and then there was a 2, and then there was a 3, and then there was a 4, and somewhere back there we quit looking at them, and we've got to get back on the program. I'm Dan Johnson. I'm going to talk to Bill Canino, an old friend in the business. Bill, walk me through from the 2, which was the last one we did quite thoroughly, as I recall, through the 3 and into the 4, and tell me some of what we discussed before we got ready for this video.
All right, Dan. The factory recognized a couple of things early on, that the wing that they established for the Sting Sport was a little bit short and fat, and so the S3 took the airplane and added new wings to it, so it became a little longer, about a foot longer in width.
It's quite a bit extra span
on each tip, and it became thinner, so its aspect ratio was better for cruise. That improved the cruise, and yet it had no effect on the stall speed, which was fine. All those changes, because a change in carbon, the airplane's 85% carbon, is a major change. You don't make in aluminum, it's a major change, but in carbon, you're making a complete production change. You can't just do onesie, twosie. They've got to be taken from a very, very expensive mold.
You have to be prepared to do multiples.
Yes.
So with a mold.
So the factory said, we'll do the wing first, and so they did, and they called it the S3. And then shortly, just barely 2 years later, they came out with the S4, which then took the fuselage molds and made changes from just about the aft of the canopy fully forward. Everything is different.
Wow.
The airflow through the engine is simpler. The canopy is much sturdier and has been designed with safety in mind.
In the previous iteration of the canopy, it used to hinge from the very front, did it not, Bill?
Yes, it did, but we found that it was much more stable in a large wind when the canopy opens because it's a big sail.
Yeah.
And it also incorporated a safety feature of an automatic lock. When you close the canopy, a safety lock comes in and prevents it opening during rotation if you forget to follow the checklist. So all of that is a part of the improvement, and improved airflow around the canopy on the inside for comfort. So there's soft air coming at you all around it for demisting, and a special vortex device that aims it at the pilot for cooling in warm weather that we have here in Florida, which we don't have today.
It's warming up though. It's getting pretty nice here, actually.
It's better. So the canopy is a big change, and the cowling is a big change because it's none of the molds. And then the nose gear was a change, both with the nose gear strut and making it much smaller, more.
Yeah, I thought it looked a little daintier up here, but
dainty is good. But it's a good nose wheel, and it's smaller, so it's less air drag. And then even the main gear was changed.
Well, they look beefier to me.
They are.
Am I seeing the right thing?
The gear is a little bit heavier, and it's a little shorter, and the tires are now aircraft wide. They're 850s, I believe, and so that generated new wheels, new brakes, new fairings for the wheels. So everything practically from the canopy forward is new on the S4.
Yeah, so I was just going to put it the other way. The only thing that remains from the original Sting is the tail.
The tail,
and everything else is kind of new.
And nothing has changed on the tail since day one, except we've increased the trim for low speed authority.
Okay.
So the airplane has been proven over thousands of units now, and thousands of hours now, and it's very, very comfortable.
Yeah, now these are sold all over the world, of course. We see them here in the U.S., but it's a European product. You got an approximate count on how many Stings there are?
600, yes.
600, okay, so a good production run. Now the same company is the one that also produces your Sirius, right?
Yes.
And so they do a low wing, they do a high wing. They're both carbon fiber based products, correct?
Yes, 85% carbon fiber.
Okay, so the Sting today, now this one is actually one of your customers' airplanes, you said, and my goodness, it's a nice looking airplane. I'm sure it's got some wear and tear somewhere on it from somebody using it, but looks great. Well, tell us a little bit about performance now. Since it's been a while since we've talked about Sting, kind of hit some of the high points of performance and what its capabilities are when you're at the stick and you're flying it around.
When I was originally attracted to this airplane, it had a V&E of 164 knots and a stall speed of about 35 knots. And I thought, I've never flown an airplane with almost 5 times the V&E to the stall ratio. And it performs well, even though there is a LSA speed limit of 120 knots. Got a lot of safety margin in there for high-speed operation. It would take a bigger engine and a more efficient prop to do that. But the thing about the plane is its comfort level, both at very low speeds and at high speeds. It rides well with the wings. You don't want an airplane that is solid carbon. It becomes very
It was
stiff,
be
and
just
so it
stiff,
rides
right,
stiff.
yeah. Uh-huh.
But you want the wings to flex a little bit and give you a comfortable ride. So that's what it does at high speed or in heavy bumps. It's a comfortable plane at all regimes of flight. I've been very pleased with it and pleased with the way that the outlook of the changes that we've made.
Yeah, and these changes to the wing, and without changing the tailplane, except for the trim tab you mentioned, the airplane still meets those kinds of numbers
Yes.
as far as the low stall. I mean, that's a very low stall, and you're right. That 5-to-1. That's the Holy Grail is only 4-to-1, so 5-to-1 is
My math may be
very
wrong,
impressive.
but it's pretty close to
Well, it
that.
sounds pretty close anyway. And that's a remarkable achievement from this company, which has been around how long now? TL Ultralights is the name of the company.
I've been a dealer for them for almost 12 years now.
Well, let's touch on what else you've got in the family, and then we'll ask for a web address. We're looking at the TL Ultralight Sting product and the Sirius from the same company, but you also represent a few other things. Give us some quick highlight on the other things.
Well, the other thing are the Savage aircraft, the DeLand Savage Cub, which is in Europe called a Cub, and here it's called an Outback, which is 180 horsepower light sport, and really is as amazing. This one has very short, low stall speeds, but this one, the Savage Cub, the Savage Outback, has a 60-foot takeoff room. And there are about 3 manufacturers of Cub-like aircraft in the market, and we're one of them. We really enjoy the honking power that you have available to you, and then when you cruise, you bring the power back to quite reasonable fuel flows and still have the availability of that large horsepower engine in front of you.
Excellent. And other products in the line, you have a lot of accessory items that you also do, I know?
Yes, we're a 145 FAA repair station, and we do a lot of avionics. All of the avionics that are installed in our aircraft are done at our shop.
Okay.
None of them are done in
So
Europe.
you bring the airplanes in, and then you do that part once it
Yes.
gets here.
So we match, we're a Garmin dealer and a Dynon dealer and a Grand Rapids dealer, and all of the avionics manufacturers allow us to be their dealers. So we do that install, not just in light sport, but in other aircraft. So the installations are done in accordance with the FAA procedures.
And where is home base for
Little Rock, Arkansas.
Little Rock, Arkansas, right? Kind of almost the center of the country there.
We service both coasts. We're close enough to California and close enough to the East Coast that we're able to provide service across the country.
A lot of great stuff there, Bill. Give us some web address. We're focused on the Sting products today. You've got several different web addresses for your various entities, I know, but give us the one that relates
For
to
the
the
Sting,
product.
it's very simple. Sting.aero, A-E-R-O.
All right.
You'll find the Sting.
So you can find lots more there. That'll take you to the other sites as well, I'm sure.
Yes.
You can link up to all the other things that are sold by Sport Air. So Sting.aero, you can find all kinds of stuff there and get more information about what comes out of the Sport Air company. You can find all kinds of affordable aviation on BuyDanJohnson.com. Thanks for joining Bill Canino and myself here at Sebring 2016.
Bye, Dan Johnson.